Basically, human being has two minds, but most cultivator may not have the understanding of this. They only familiar with one of the mind, which is the thinking mind, or what we call the mundane mind. So this thinking mind or the mundane mind is what the thought process is all about. Actually, this one is a result of this one, the true mind. You have another mind, which is basically your true mind. And what is this true mind? It is your pure awareness nature here. That's why I say this pure awareness nature, your true mind, which is a pure awareness nature, or some people call it the Buddha nature, and it is your silent mind. So this one is the first to arise from the source when living beings are born. Then from there, it starts to create the thought process. So the mundane mind is a resultant from the pure awareness. That's why I put this arrow, blue color. So this one is the resultant. From the true mind, it arises. That's why we call it the resultant. So when you are mindful, when you are aware without thought, you are here with your true mind, your silent mind. Then without thought, you can see things as they are, without the word, without the concept, without the interference from the thought process, your accumulated memory, views, opinion, and conditioning. And the true pure awareness is in the direct seeing. It sees things as they are without word. The pure perception, the pure seeing, without the word to verbalize, to perceive and give rise to thought process, give rise to concept, idea. This is how the mundane mind and the thinking mind, which is dependent originating from this true mind, create the division, creates the labeling. And when it labels through words, concept and ideology, then it divides and causes misunderstanding, leading to conflict, argument, war, problems. So when you can see these two clearly, when you are with the pure awareness without thought, it is the awareness nature. It cannot do anything. It's not a being. It cannot come out and live like it's just the nature inside aware, pure awareness nature. But from here, it creates thinking, thought process. And this thought process is the resultant of causes and conditions. So when you are completely silent and aware and you can see this movement, then you understand how mundane mind comes to be, dependent on what it arises. Then after it arises, how it conditions you into emotion, into the various mind state of like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant reaction to sense experience. Then how fear come to be, how anger come to be, how what they call sorrow and lamentation come to be, how all your phobia arise. They come through your accumulated memories, your senses. Then you realize they are all dependent originating, dependent on the thought. If the thought is wrong thought without the Dharma understanding and wisdom, it creates negativity of mind state and it causes living beings to entangle themselves and develop karmic affliction. And this is how karma arises. And the wrong thought will condition your misery, your suffering. Like what I have taught you, what are wrong thoughts? Thought that condition your fear, your worry, your anxiety, your sorrow, your lamentation, your phobia, your insecurity, your lack of faith, confidence. Your evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. All these are wrong thoughts. Then you have to understand that wrong thought is detrimental to your life because they will result in negativity or action, speech, and thought process. Then it will trigger coming negativity, cause your karmic nature to fall. And all this is what the Buddha is trying to let you understand through right view with regards to the law of karma. Seeing this clearly, then you understand all this movement from the pure awareness into the mundane creation, they are all dependent, originating, following nature's law. That's why we call it the Pancha Niyamas. And the three most powerful Pancha Niyama are the spiritual law of karma, law of mind, and law of truth, Dhamma Niyama. Means Karma Niyama, Chitta Niyama, and Dhamma Niyama. And when you understand these three, you understand Dhamma. Then you understand why living beings are like that, why you are like that. Then you understand who are you, what are you, and how you function as a human being, and how the mundane mind arise and cause problem through lack of Dhamma understanding, through sakkayaditthi, self-delusion, ignorance, avijja. So all this is to enable you to understand that thing is just the way it is. That's why you must have the ability to see things as they are. Means, like the Buddha said, condition like that, things will be like that. Means that is the reality, cannot be otherwise. The other way to describe reality is what is, the isness of things. So when you can develop the wisdom to accept things as they are, means you can come to terms with the reality. That this is the reality. Cannot be otherwise. Condition like that, things will be like that. This is the Dhamma wisdom that will arise in the cultivator of the way. Then when you know that this is the reality, this is what is, the isness of thing or suchness, then I cannot argue with nature. If I want thing my way, which is not nature's way, I will suffer. Because the truth is, it follows nature's law. It develops into this reality where causes and conditions are set. Wanting things your way is not nature's way. That's why this inability to realize the reality within life is the cause of suffering. Where you want things your way, you have craving, desire. You always react to sense experience where you stir your mind, you cannot accept what happened. You want things your way. And that's the cause of suffering. So not able to get what you want is dukkha. Yeah. Then when you cannot accept the reality of the first four reality of birth, old age, sickness, and death, you also suffer. That's why acceptance is very important. The first noble truth, the 8 realities, they are the realities of life and existence. If you live long enough, you go through life, you will experience them all. Of course, by now, if you are a Dharma practitioner, cultivator, you reflect back. The first 4 is birth leading to old age, sickness, injury, and death. So this one is a reality. When you are subject to it, when you confront birth, old age, sickness, and death, or injury, with the Dhamma understanding, then you know our form and mind goes the way of nature. It's not an unchanging entity. This one is a phenomenon, dependent originating, supported by causes and conditions, like any other phenomenon. That's why this one is not you. It's not a permanent, unchanging entity that you can cling on to, hold on to, and grasp onto. This is you. This is me. This is I. That is delusion. That is avijja, ignorance. So seeing this, understanding this is very important. That when you have the wisdom to come to terms with the reality, then you are always at peace. That's why our Dharma code, which is the unique code that I wrote, I stress on this a lot. Then unique code 139 says you have to learn to accept people for what they are and to see things as they are. One has to come to terms with the reality of the moment to accept what is. So they are all written on the whiteboard. And they arise based on your awareness, ability to see all this and to awaken to it. Then we continue with Unique Code 140. Unique Code 140 is the wisdom way that my nature evolved and developed the wisdom over the long period of cultivation. That's why I realized that without this wisdom, you cannot come to terms with the reality. You cannot be at peace with all situations that arise. And you will perceive a lot of things or life situations with negativity because of your ignorant delusion. We are wanting things your way, which is not nature's way. So I will now read to you Unique Code 140 so that you understand. If you can come to terms with the reality, means you have the wisdom to accept people for what they are. Means deluded people will say deluded thing and do deluded thing. Angry people will say angry thing and develop negative emotion to cause suffering to others and themselves. And selfish people will do selfish things to cause karmic negativity to themselves and suffering to others. So all this refer to the world. And the first aspect of the world is the world of relationship with people. Hence, people are just the way they are. Then the second part of the wisdom which covers the rest of the understanding is the world is the world. Like the Buddha said, it's a condition arising world. When conditions are like that, means suchness, such, then the outcome of thing will be like that too. That's why it's suchness. Like the Buddha said, when the causes and conditions are already set, then it will lead to the reality which is manifested. That's why whatever arises, you cannot perceive it in negativity. You have to come to terms with the reality and be at peace with it. Means the acceptance of what happened is wisdom, is most important, and also the most difficult thing for living being to do. Can you be at peace with all situations? Without wisdom, without Dharma, you can't. When you see things with your own views, opinion, and conditioning, you bound to want things your way. You bound to reject what happened. Because you have perceived things without wisdom. That's why whatever happens, do not perceive it with negativity. For things is just the way they are. If you have this wisdom, then you will always be at peace and there will be no problem. So when you accept the reality, means you don't perceive any life situation with negativity, then where is the problem? Well, what happened is the reality.